Well, Extinction Rebellion are targeting the great Australian event, the Tour Down Under, because it dares to be sponsored by energy giant Santos. Well, let's get into this and much more from the world of woke with the great Prue MacSween. Welcome, Prue MacSween. What am I talking about?
I'll answer to anything, Taylor.
Welcome to the desk.
Thanks, mate.
Now, as I wrote in the Advertiser today, when these Extinction Rebellion nutsos glue themselves to the road, why can't we just leave them there? I mean, Volkswagen shows us last year that it can be done because they glued themselves in this place over in Europe and they just left them there. And then they ended up complaining that, oh, they needed to go to the toilet and their hands hurt and whatever. I mean, you know, if you want to glue yourself to the road in Flinders Street like they did in Adelaide today, go for your life. We'll just leave you there.
Well, let's face it, they aren't very bright though, are they, mate? So, you know, you have to think about the fact that these people who clearly, a lot of them reflect the poor education that generation has. And I know there are a lot of grey-haired ladies who've got not enough to do with their lives. But, you know, there's no critical thinking, particularly with this, the fact that they're attacking Santos, that is supporting a Tour Down Under that is really promoting everything that they want. They want to get rid of fossil fuels and cars that are going to create shocking emissions, but they want to cancel this damn thing or this sponsorship, knowing that in fact sponsorships are so hard to get that there's a likelihood that the thing won't go on again if Santos walks. The hypocrisy of these people and the stupidity and the public nuisance that they're accommodated by. We all know we're allowed to protest, but when it starts impacting on the rest of us, then I think the laws have to be changed. It's just appalling. Well,
apparently, I was saying at the top of the show, Human Rights Watch now says that our treatment of climate protesters is terrible. It's we're going against people's human rights. God.
We must be doing something right then.
Exactly. Well, now, can you believe this? Apparently, the word field is now racist. So USC, which is a college in America, will no longer be using the word field in its School of Social Work. In a letter from the department, they wrote, quote, "Language can be powerful and phrases such as going into the field or field work may have connotations for descendants of slavery and immigrant workers that are not benign." What on earth are they talking about? Field?
I really thought this was, I had to check that it wasn't April Fool's Day. I mean, these people are in charge of teaching it's minds of our children, and you think, my God, if they're moronic, they have no intellectual capacity, and if this is all they've got time to do, but worry about words like field, I had to think, what the hell's wrong with field? I mean, it's just appalling that these people with so little time on their hands, who are bending over backwards to try and accommodate this or do this cancel culture performance that seems to be taking over our universities. I think universities are becoming a very dangerous place to send your children. I don't know if I'd encourage mine to go and do any more there.
Go and do a trade. You
yeah, exactly. It's much healthier.
You do an apprenticeship and you know you'll have a job at the end of it. But I mean, like, what place does your head have to be in when you start seeing offence in a word like field? I mean, you've gone so far off the deep end.
Well,
I'm not sure you can ever be brought back, can
you? You just wonder, are they going through the dictionary and just looking at every word and trying to see if they can somehow associate that with white supremacy or something that could be cancelled? I mean, just to justify their position as being, a hand-wringing, apologist for life, it seems.
It's amazing, isn't it? Now, our old friend Lidia Thorpe, she's struck again. She's asking everyone who's celebrating invasion, murder and theft this 26th of January. Now, Prue, I don't know about you, but I prefer to call the 26th of January Australia Day, and I think most of the country still does too. We have this discussion about The Voice and whatever. This is just one of those perennials that comes up every year, and it feels like we get absolutely nowhere. But I suppose if you work at Channel 10, they want you to work on Australia Day now. It's not even a public holiday.
Exactly. It'll probably be wall-to-wall Lidia Thorpe on Channel 10 on 26th of January. But this woman is so offensive, and, the worst part was the Black Power salute during the time when she was taking the oath she's so against colonisation, but she's being paid by a system, the system that she's against. You know, she's the biggest hypocrite. She's irrelevant. And she's what's bad about this country, that someone of her ilk can actually get a place in the Senate is terrifying to me, because she's dangerous, she's divisive, and you know, she's the one who should be cancelled.
Well, it says a lot about the Greens that they have her there. Now, we've only got a minute left, Prue, but Perrottet, we know what he's done. We've heard all about it today. Is he cancelled, and ought he to be cancelled?
Do you know what? I think a lot of people will respect that he's come out, feel that the apology was quite genuine, and relate back to their youth and what they have done. I mean, I think of the costumes I've worn at fancy dress parties. I mean, if we're going to start going back through the history of all these people, we'll probably find, you know, Chris Minns, all of the Labor side need to be very careful, because you can bet everybody's going to start combing through old photos on the other side. It's a political motivation by whoever was threatening to put it out. I don't know that it's going to do as much damage as, because he's had history with the Jews. You know, he's done all sorts of wonderful things to support them. So, you know, it was wrong what he did. I'm not apologising for him, but I also understand how it could happen.
Well, just 15 seconds, Prue. Does he win the state election this year?
I don't think so, not based on that. I just think the momentum's against him now, and he's got Matt Keane as his cheer squad. That'd be enough not to vote for them.
Prue MacSween, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Caleb.